We acknowledge the president, and David is somewhere in the room too. Hi, David. I know you've heard this 3 times. I heard this 3 times yesterday, but I'll repeat it. Rabbi Danny Eisenbach is a seasoned spiritual leader with over 15 years of experience in pastoral care and community building. He serves as the rabbi of the Avenue N Jewish Center in Brooklyn. He also, since I'll shorten this because nobody wants to hear me, they want to hear the rabbi. Since 1997, Rabbi Eisenbach has also served as the Mashgiach Ruchani, spiritual dean of students at the Stella K. Abraham High School for Girls in Hewlett, New York. Rabbi Eisenbach got his smicha from Ner Yisrael from Rabbi Yaakov Yitzchak Ruderman. Okay, we have some Ner Yisrael graduates, I guess. After the way we'll do this, I have some questions that people presented in writing. That not many of you use. Oh, yeah, we asked people twice. Please turn off your phones so that there's no distractions. I'm going to read the written questions first, and then I'll ask if people have oral questions. And remember, when I was in camp, we played a game called Stump the Counselor. This is not Stump the Counselor. We're all going to ask respectful questions. We're not looking to show anybody up. But if you have good questions, this is a chance before they leave us to find out more about your rabbi and get to know him better. So I'll start. First of all, this is Rabbi Eisenbach. Bach. Am I saying this correctly? Okay. Only takes me a few months. And his wonderful Rebbitzin Stephanie. First question. Yes. You want to say something? Yeah. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Some people say, what the hell is he getting up there again for?
Good question.
Did I see that right?
Yes.
All right. Right? Did you say that? Okay. One little ground rule. I said it before, I'll say it again. The current Rav, the covered Derech Eretz, we're looking forward. We're not looking back. So please ask no questions about the current Rav or current practices. If everything should be put in the sense of Rabbi Eisenbach, where are you on something? So that's completely Derech Eretz. You could ask any question you want to ask, but please don't ask any questions about it was our practice. It's a nuance, but we have to show Derech Eretz. Thank you so much. I'm not answering the question.
Rabbi, be standing.
We'll stand.
Thank you. That's good. That's good.
I'll stand up when I get a question.
No, you're fine. Okay.
Very good.
I'll start with the written questions. There was one lady that asked me to ask you this yesterday. Sometimes we do events in coordination with Temple Beth Shalom. That's a conservative synagogue right behind us. Would you be comfortable, like Israeli bonds or something? I don't know if we do it ourselves or we share. Would you be comfortable in coordinating with the rabbi next door?
So like any good social worker, what would a good social worker do? How do you feel about that?
It works.
So of course, my wife was educated in Beth Shalom in Kansas City, Missouri, which is a prominent conservative synagogue in Kansas City. She would not be Shomer Shabbos today without the benefits of the conservative movement. She's a proud member of USY. Until today, I'm kidding. And it instilled in her a real feeling of Judaism and Yiddishkeit. The only thing I would not do in a conservative shul is daven there. Would not daven in a conservative minyan. I wouldn't participate in a minyan, but any event that happens there, I would participate.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Question 2, will the rabbi be willing to teach a Chumash or Navi or Halacha class to a mixed class of men and women?
As long as the men and women that are coming in, went through the marriage counseling beforehand and are good. I'm good. Brooklyn, my shul in Brooklyn is really very similar to what I'm seeing now, just the numbers are smaller. And I wouldn't have any problem with that. I would welcome that. The energy's good. It's interesting. I'm a fan of sometimes having separate groups, like having a women's cheer, having a men's cheer, because men will say things that they normally wouldn't say if a woman was there in the opposite street. The girls in school say they're happy that they're in an all-girls school because boys change the dynamic. So that would be the only reason. It wouldn't be a religious reason. Certain camaraderie is cultivated when it's all men, all women, but there's always, of course, there's a place for a mixed group. Just like in shul. Yesterday, wasn't it mixed yesterday? There were women on that side. On this side. We did good.
Okay. Will the rabbi allow women to dance with a Sefer Torah on Simchas Torah?
That's the question, yeah.
You got it grown.
So in my shul, I felt, when I was asked that in my shul, I gave a Rabbi Riskin answer. And I said, if the women in the shul would do what the women in Lincoln Square, in Lincoln Square did, and they had a learning group every day, and they were Messiah and whatever Mishnayos they did, and they took their learning very seriously. Similar to a question I got, traditionally we would not take food from outside, whatever, an OU, a recognized kashrus place. But we have a kollel in my shul Tuesday nights, and a woman offered to make kugel. So someone said, how could you allow that person to make kugel? So I said, if you commit to making something for the kiddush, for a shiur weekly, I'll personally come and make sure it's kosher. Of course, they did not. No one wants to make that effort. So I would say the same thing about the Torah. If women are serious and do and accomplish something in learning and want to dance with the Sefer Torah behind the mechitza, I would definitely consider that.
Okay. You like that answer? They also asked, did you teach at Yeshiva Flatbush? But I think the answer is, did you teach at the Yeshiva Flatbush?
Not only did I teach in Yeshiva Flatbush, limadati ivrit be'ivrit, until Rabbi Eliyahu would complain. He would say, I'm not doing it enough. It was funny, I would get notes in my box that I'm not doing enough ivrit be'ivrit, and my children were at the time in a Yiddish teaching cheder, and they were complaining that we weren't teaching in Yiddish enough. So we were being pulled in both directions, that they will just do Ladino and we'll move on.
In a full-time congregation with lots of expectations, how many classes might you offer in a week, and how would you prioritize them, by subject or by target audience?
So I would like split that question in the middle. In a full-time congregation with lots of expectations, you should probably take up smoking. Just for the nerve. My Rosh Hashanah, I don't smoke. We don't smoke. That's one of the conditions of our marriage, that grounds for divorce if I would start smoking. But I still remember Rabbi Gillespie, my Rosh Hashiva, after giving an intense year, the drag he would take on the cigarette. It was such a calming experience just watching him do it. So right now, and that's why this is a difficult decision for both of us. My schedule in Brooklyn is pretty intense. Every Sunday morning, this time, after davening, we do Chumash Rashi. Everybody has a Chumash Rashi. There's 10, 15 people at the shiur, 20, 25 minutes. And that happens. Sunday night, one good thing that emerged from COVID is Zoom. So we do a Zoom shiur. It's all on Zoom, but it's very well attended. 7 o'clock, right? Men and women on Zoom, and many couples come. Many people who left the shul are able to access the shul because of Zoom, and so that's every Sunday night. Like I had to remind the Rebbitzin to send a reminder that it's not going to happen tonight. People could join that Zoom, now. We'll give you our Zoom information. And so they're in it, and she's reminding the group that we're not having it. people sponsor it. It brought money into the shul. It brought money into many people want to sponsor it. I don't ask for sponsors. People are excited about it, and it made people feel connected. There are people on the Zoom share that I never even met, but I went to the Levaya for someone just from that connection. And then Monday night we have a Pirkei Avos share on Zoom only for women. Now you think, does that create camaraderie? Yeah, because women will. Once a man comes on, the women are less comfortable. You know what Roseanne said about men? You can't live with them, and you can't kill them. There are some men like that. Not here, not here. But I get that feeling when what are you doing? This isn't your place right now. And then Tuesday night, we have a very successful kollel in Brooklyn. We have different rabbis. I give a Gemara shiur, and that's on Zoom and live. So there's no reason why that can't endure. So continue. And during the day, that's all I'm doing with the kids in school. I don't teach a class. I told you, being a teacher is the only job in the world where if you don't show up, 25 people go, yes. Do you know any other jobs like that? Are you aware of any other job where if you come to the dentist, nobody's excited about going to the dentist and he's not there? You're not happy. You're upset. If you go to Starbucks, do you jump for joy if the barista is not there? Yes. No coffee. I'm happy we came and got a parking for no reason in front of the Starbucks. But school, you're paying $30,000 for a product that not a single kid wants. So my principal, Mrs. Kamenetsky, she's a wonderful person, embracive, loving, caring. So she created my position. I taught them many years in official class, but all I do is I come, I open up, I put 5, 6 Pirkei Avos around me, and girls who have certain classes that are missable, now less and less classes are officially missable. There are no gym teachers here. Gym is considered a class. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. So some girls don't like gym. Some girls, other girls like gym and they go to gym. But the girls who don't like, don't bring their stuff, right? Did you ever have people not bring their stuff to gym? Okay. So I do a favor, or the kids who misbehave, and you pull the kid out of the class and they don't disrupt the class. But with me, they'll learn because they want to. So that's what we do all day. So that's what me and the Rebbitzin, that's what we're built to do, and we would continue that.
You mentioned struggles with classroom management. How would you handle disruptive talking during services?
Yeah, that's a very legitimate question. So in my shul, I don't know if I should say this. Sometimes what's worse than the talker is the shusher. Sometimes. But the shusher is correct. You need a shul is a place of reverence, not a place of chaos. So I found, and a wise, when you become a rabbi, you have many people who have your ear and gave me wise advice. So I stand by the Baal Korah in my shul, by laning. I stand there, and if the talking gets to the point where I can hear it, I stop the Baal Korah, and the Baal Korah is my friend, so he understands, and we have a good, kind of like a catcher and a pitcher. If there's a substitute Baal Korah, it doesn't work as well, because he gets upset that I stop him, because it ruins his rhythm. But this Baal Korah understands, my main Baal Korah, and I stop, and I'll do the same thing with the Baal Tefillah. Now, there's a limit to that, but over time, I don't know if anybody's here from our shul, it has an effect. I don't think that you can't rule by fiat. There's no magical solution, but over time, if you're consistent, it has an effect. That's how I do it.
Thank you. If you were asked a shaila that you didn't feel comfortable answering on the spot, when should the shoel expect to hear back from you?
I mean, I'm a nervous guy. That's my nature, They asked Joe Louis if he liked money. He said, "I don't like money, but it's good for the nerves." But it's good for my nerves not to know that someone's upset at me for not getting back to them. So I tend to get back pretty quickly, and I have multiple rabbis who I call for different situations, and most of them answer my questions. So I get back pretty quick. Yeah, I get back pretty quick. So who are the multiple rabbis? So Moshe Pluchak is one of my rabbis. Rabbi Horowitz, who's the rabbi. Somebody here said that their family. Right, you started. What's your last name again? Nadrich. Yeah, Mrs. Nadrich mentioned that it was who started the shul? Your father. started the shul on McDonald Avenue across the street from where the palace is today. Yeah, then it was a Yeki shul. Now, ironically, it's become a Hasidic shul with Yekis in it. There's a wonderful, wonderful Rabbi Horowitz, and yes, he's originally from Baltimore. And many of my shilas go to him. He responds very quickly. And Rabbi Fischelis, who is Rabbi Feinstein's son-in-law in MTJ, I spend my summers there in the Beis Medrash, and I've gotten close to him. So yeah, so I different, and Rabbi Krauss, different people for different shilas for different, and then colleagues. A lot of times I'll ask, I won't go to the rabbi, I'll discuss it with a colleague. You know, how would you deal with this in your situation? Unfortunately, we've had many issues that you have to deal with in a Brooklyn shul.
There was one congregant who wanted me to correct you about your Devar Torah sermon yesterday. They want you to know that
The President won.
football is not only played on Sunday, it's played on Monday, Thursday night, and other nights of the week too.
But the thought is still correct. It's played weekly, and the players do not like playing on Thursday because they feel their bodies are battered, right? And so Thursday is not enough time. That's why that 2-3 Yontif really throws off a rabbi.
I'm going to walk up and down the aisles. Raise your hand and I'll try to get everybody. Let me start from that side. My favorite head sheet.
Now, this is a serious question. Since the shul is always looking to raise money, be willing to do a 1-hour comedy show?
Oh. That's a legitimate question. There is a part of me that wanted to be a stand-up comedian. That's not helping with some material.
First of all, welcome. I thank very much the committee, did an excellent job in selecting their candidates. And you and the other future have a lot of long life and prosperity wherever that may be.
Amen.
Okay, I just have 2 questions. One was asked me before, and on their behalf, I'll ask. Are you familiar with our system with the Shabbos?
Yes.
Okay. Would you, maybe it's unfair now to ask, but after proper studying of all the halachas, would you?
Just cursory, halachically, I feel comfortable with it, but just the fact that Rav Herschel Schachter felt that if you have a need to go to shul, that it's okay to do that, assuming that that is true, and I can't see why he wouldn't have said that. Then if that's the reason why you're using the bus, it's no different than having a non-Jew run an elevator for you. Then I would be okay with it. You know, Rav Herschel Schachter is an Adam Gadol Ma'od. He's on my YU app. I listen to him all the time. I wish I would have met him. I met him a little bit personally by Rabbi Schwar's funeral, but I'm assuming that Rabbi Yasker did approach him and he okayed it. So I would never change that.
Okay, next question, if I may, just quickly.
Go for it.
I once started at a shul where the Rav always stood for a very long Shemona Esrei. And when they asked him why, he said, if you knew how many requests he gets on a daily basis, pray for this one and that one, the other one, he didn't want to shortchange anyone, so it was quite lengthy.
I would take an opposite approach. I spend a lot of time with Tehillim. Tehillim is very important to me and my family, and that's the time I would utilize, and I do that. One of the nice things about a shul, especially my shul in Brooklyn, the Avenue and Jewish Center, has beautiful stained glass windows. It's a classic shul built in 1930, yet so many people put so much effort into it, into building the shul, and it's only used a few hours on a Shabbos. And Aryeh Kaplan recommended, find these places during the week instead of the clubhouse. That's fine. But come here, open up a Tehillim, and here it's outside. It's beautiful. So that's the time I would utilize for praying for the congregants. And as my mother would say, it was a long Shemona Esrei, Rachmanis oif le'olam. That they should. I always think, any chazanim here, I would ask, think about when you singing a long kedusha, and there are older people who can't stand, but they can't sit either because Their granddaughters won't get a shit up there. Grandfather sixth string, Dusha. So have Rahmanas on them. Have Rahmanas on them. So yeah, I do, move on, go.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. We got one over there. This is great. I get to say how I've always felt about things.
I have a question and an observation. Avenue N Jewish Center is almost world renowned. It's a great place. Why would you want to leave there and come here?
It's a very challenging decision, but Brooklyn is in decline. Brooklyn, we're swimming upstream in Brooklyn. If our only focus would be the rabbinate, then Brooklyn has its limitations. To find a kippah sruga in Brooklyn is rare now. There are no families really, Ashkenaz families moving to Brooklyn. But with all of that said, it is definitely a decision that we're still grappling with.
An observation. In a couple of weeks, we are going to have a Siyum Mishnayos. We'll probably have over 200 people over there. We have a lot of rabbis in the shul. We have a lot of learned people. My understanding is yesterday you gave a shiur, and it was more geared to a kolo than a congregation. It was a very, for really educated people.
The one.
For mincha.
Oh, what?
There's a lot of people who appreciate that, but there's a lot more that are not on such a high
I
madrega.
take that as a compliment. I thought I was being too fluffy. Did the women feel that way yesterday? Some of the women were at my shiur. Do you feel it was too scholarly? It was light.
I actually got a comment from somebody that he was not lumpish enough, so you hear.
But thank you. I like that. Usually I get the other way.
It's like in class, whoever raises the hand. I'll get to you.
I appreciate those questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Hi.
Hi, Andrew Becker, Baltimore, Maryland.
Andrew, I could hear the lilt in your voice.
I wanted to ask you, the time between Mincha and Maariv during the week is a very auspicious time, not just Shabbos. And the few minutes that are spent, how will you spend them in the position to inspire us and to infuse us with a spirit of intensity, of growth, of the ability to help us grow in our learning, to help ourselves spiritually as well as to help others. In the few minutes that exist, what will you be speaking about? Where will your sources come from?
Yeah, that's a good, so again.
It's a big question.
It's
It's
a
a lot
big
to ask.
question. See, so in Brooklyn, unfortunately, the time between Mincha and Maariv stopped being learning time. It used to be Rabbi Schreier would teach Mishnah Berurah, we continue that. But then it petered out and we do the Tehillim for Israel between Mincha and Maariv and then go straight to Maariv. But in the morning, Shachris, I do Chovos Levavos, 5 minutes. I do the duties of your heart. It was written 1,000 years ago. Rabbi Eisenbach says Jews are very good at doing mitzvos with their limbs, but not so good with their hearts. So it's a classic sefer that might be appropriate, or maybe someone would ask me, how come you do Mishnah Berurah and not Kitzur Shulchan Aruch? Because every word that the Chavetz Chaim wrote was infused with great holiness. Not that the Kitzur wasn't, but the Chavetz Chaim was unique. People still name their children Yisrael Meir. So I'm not sure. Maybe the Chovos Levavos would be appropriate. Maybe you have to really feel it out.
I have a question I was asked here to Rebbetzin yesterday. Do you have any hobbies?
Who knows how to say hobby in Hebrew?
Yeah, I had this idea yesterday, and unfortunately, someone beat me to it.
Yes, they did.
Also, by the way, Rebbetzin, I was a USY leader in South Florida.
All right,
Wow.
here you go. So who knows how to say hobby in Hebrew? Eh? חשבתי שזה תחביב. A little bit.
So let's take tables.
So that's it. Do I have hobbies?
Do I have that?
Do I have hobbies? Yes, me.
Oh, you?
Do I have a hobby?
Yeah.
Oh, you? Oh, I thought you asked me. Did you ask me if I have a hobby?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Do I have a hobby?
Me? I knew that.
Oh, yeah. Hanging out with my wife, for sure. Until somebody could help me with my misalignment, but I do enjoy, it used to be called running. The older I got, it became jogging and now shuffling. So I shuffle a lot and I have to watch the pavement in Brooklyn. And if anybody has some helpful exercises for strained glutes, I'm going to listen. But that is my hobby. I like to run.
In general, your Shabbos drushes, do you stay strictly in Torah or you get involved in Yoni Diomo?
I don't get involved in politics.
Not politics. The general.
Right now.
Of course. Yeah. Israel was the focus of of every sermon for 6 months. And I didn't want to just plug it in yesterday for the sake of plugging it in. I didn't feel it within the rhythm of the drasha. I think in the first minyan I did because someone told whatever. But of course, in Yonah D'Yoma is everything. What's happening in the world is extremely relevant. If I have any hobby, I like reading the newspaper. I don't read it online, but I like to read. You saw my notebook yesterday. That was the Apple notebook that you could use on Shabbos, and I still read the Times with a scissor. My wife got me a special cutter that I could cut out. I cut and paste for real. I don't cut and paste online. I still cut and paste the old-fashioned way. And so, yeah, current events are very important to me.
This way. Yeah, I live in Israel and I have
So fortunate.
2 boys serving in Lebanon in the IDF. And I have 1 son-in-law serving in Gaza. Son-in-law serving in Gaza as a tank commander and medic. And one of the questions that was asked the Rebbe in a February in 1967 at the 6-Day War, which today is probably the most explosive, divisive, controversial question.
Go for it.
Why do the Haredi boys, I'm not talking about Zaka, giving of the crop, but the majority of the Haredi boys do not serve in the IDF. When the Rebbe was asked, he said, he gave the story of Zvulun and Issachar, and he said that there's no question that the boys who are protecting Israel are more important than the boys earning Torah. We know today, but I'm going to put you in an uncomfortable situation. I'm sorry.
I live in Brooklyn. I'm in a constantly uncomfortable situation.
That we know today in Israel that the boys, 17, 18-year-old boys, do not serve, they go to prison. I said 40 years ago, I say today, and today when I say it, people say, yeah, you're right, 100%. It's not the boys who should go to prison, it's the rabbis who should go to prison. Not only the rabbis should go to prison, but they should have their citizenship revoked. I want to hear your feedback on that. And then I have a second question.
Go ahead, finish. Finish.
I didn't talk too much politics. Yeah, but I'll hear what the rabbis.
The story I was going to say yesterday, Rav Goren wrote a beautiful biography. Did anybody read Rav Goren, Rav Shlomo Goren? You read the biography, but 2 people buy it on Amazon. It's cheap. It's Rav Shlomo Goren wrote a personal biography, and there's a story in 1948. There was information that David Shaltiel, who was the chairman of the Haganah, got that the Jordanians were hiding a column of tanks behind Sheikh Jarrah, 13 tanks that would completely overwhelm the Haganah forces, the defenses, and the western part of the city would be lost. So Rav Goren asked him, "What's your plan?" He said, "We don't have a plan. The only thing we could do is dig ditches, trenches, for the entrance to Sheikh Jarrah, which is where Rechav Shiftei Yisrael is today. And that's our only chance." He says, "How much time do we have?" Information that we're getting intelligence is within 48 hours that they're going to overrun the city. So Rav Goren went from Shtibel to Shtibel. First he went to Rav Herzog to get a heter to dig trenches on Shabbos. And Herzog was the chief rabbi. And then he went to Rav Dushinsky, who was the chief rabbi of the Eideh Haredis. And Rav Dushinsky unfortunately said, this is something you should have dealt with 6 months ago. We shouldn't have to be dealing with it now. So Rav Goren said back, imagine somebody who, a doctor said, you have to start exercising, you have to control your diabetes. And if not, you're not gonna be able to fast on Yom Kippur. But he didn't do any of that stuff. He lived on donuts and he did not exercise and he had a remote in his hand. Says, now it's Yom Kippur. Do we say that too bad, you have to fast, you can't eat because you were negligent? No. You deal with the situation right now. That was Rav Goren's argument back to Rav Dushinsky, but Rav Dushinsky was just so pained by it. And he said the city's gonna fall, and he was just angry at the Haganah. And Rav Goren ignored him. He had Rav Herzog's heter, and he went to Yeshivas Hebron, and he told him the situation. And he said he got 100 boys. He told them, make Kiddush, daven Ma'ariv early, you'll say Shema later, and meet me at this place on the corner of, I forgot the name of the street, by the entrance of Shikshara. So and then he went, according to Rav Goren, to the Neturei Karta Shtiebel. Neturei Karta Shtiebel. And he was able to pull 50 boys from the Neturei Karta Shtiebel. At the end, and he was doing this at great risk of himself, because the reason I'm in America now is because my father came before the war, and they told my father it's too dangerous to come back, bring my mother to America because of what was going on in Yerushalayim. So Rav Goren at the end of the night managed to get 1,000 Jews to dig trenches. They went the next day on the top of the Jewish Agency building, saw the tanks begin to roll out of the eastern part of the city. First tank hits a trench, rolls over, the second tank goes around it. Also gets stuck in the trench, and then they see the entire column turning around, going back. Rav Goren said it was the climax of his life to witness it, to witness the camaraderie, to witness the fellowship. And I think we have to pray so hard that division should melt. And somehow the Haredim and Sahal and all the boys, my first cousin was in Echo's unit in Lebanon and was killed. And my family really is very reflective of this schism. My grandfather was killed in a bus accident. And all my mother's younger brothers were sent to an orphanage, to Diskin. So all those children are in Echo's units and in Sayeret Matkal or Jobnikin. Everything. While all the older kids stayed in Mea Sharm. So I was with my first cousin, Ego's father person. We're walking in Mea Sharm, and he looks at a man with a long pay and says, maybe he's my cousin. Maybe he's my cousin. Why maybe? We make a reunion, hug each other, get to know each other. But this issue that you're talking about is insurmountable right now. I think the only solution is somehow to pray, because everything that you brought up now, it pierces any heart, anything you feel. But I'd ask you a different question. What about all of the Haredim, all the Americans who live here, who go to MTA? Why are Jews in America less responsible for the defense of Israel? We should be put in jail for our willingness just to, I don't know. So it's a big problem. It's a big problem. Well, what's the difference between a Jew and America?
Not answering the question.
I know I'm not. I'm acknowledging that. If I would be the leader of the Jews, if I would be the Rosh Yeshiva of Slobodka, what would I do? I don't know. I would put up the white flag. Right now, I'm putting up the white flag.
I have two questions. One is Rebecca Ortantes. My name. Do you want me to stand? Okay. Hi. I like doing laundry drafts, but I have two questions for you. One is, how do you feel about women learning Gemara? Like whether in a special women only share or whether in a co-ed share? And I want to know whether you and your wife have ever taught Gemara to women, whether in a co-ed share or in a women only share. And I have a second question for you as well, but that's my first question.
All Torah is special. So yeah,
Okay, that's
any Jew that learns Torah is good. Good. Jews that watch Hallmark, also good.
I want just to give a statement. I'm Rita Gruber. Serving in the army, my father served in Israel. I can say only one thing for the Haredim. The Ilui should sit and learn because we need learning and going. those that go on the street just to drink coffee in and out of Bnei Brak should go into the army like everybody else. Because if we are not going to do it, nobody will do it for us. And I'm sure high, that's if we are responsible for all the police that are in the.
That's not really your question, but so.
That's a good answer.
Not a question.
Give me an excuse to sit.
Hi, Joe Farboys. Where do you see the delineation between board authority and rabbinic authority when it comes to shul administration? There are some amorphous issues, like the mechitza. Is that a board issue? Is that a halachic issue? And then secondly, we have a wide spectrum of religious observance here in this kehillah. The two people come and ask you a shaila. One is FFB and the other one wears a gargle, but the first one is more traditional. Do you answer their question the same way, or do you take into account their religious background in determining whether or not you can bring them closer to Yiddishkeit by your answer, or if you give them you have to be machmir, whether that might be turning them away?
That's a good question, but I one more to the Chayam. Sorry. I cry over your question, by the way. I feel it.
Rabbi Eisenbach, the Shiva in Shalayim, he was crying when he was asked on Channel 11 by Ayala Son. When they asked about he said, voice was just a newly application to serve.
It's something we need to cry.
He said, yes, it is a Hashem.
Yeah, I'm just wary of getting into politics.
I know, I'm sorry.
We're here to ask the rabbi.
So the first question about the board and the rabbi, I think it's a dual, it's for both. And there's a place for compromise. For example, someone in my shul is sitting Shiva. She's an Avelis for her father, but for her mother, but her mother was 100, so she's in her 70s. And I come to the shul kiddush. So the technical traditional answer is the year of mourning, you don't go to the kiddush. But I know this person, and I know she's isolated, and this kiddush is so important for her mental health. I only know that. If you would ask Google that question, they would say, no, you can't go to the kiddush. But I know her. So, but I also know she wants to acknowledge the Avelis. So I said, orally come to the kiddush and leave 5 minutes before you normally would. So yes, each person gets a tailor-made answer. Somebody else, my wife, if she wouldn't be the Rebbitzin, do not come to the kiddush because she doesn't need to come to the kiddush. She doesn't need to have that. So everybody, yes, those kinds of questions when it comes to minhagim especially gets a tailor-made answer. A mechitza there is wiggle room in a mechitza, and so yeah, both the board and the rabbi have to be involved in that decision. But the rabbi has to be involved. You can't ignore that. The mechitza is a halachic issue, so the rabbi can't step back and say, "Oh, let the board deal with it." But I found that in my shul, I ended up dealing with that. We had to kick out a pedophile from my shul. And that's really the board. They own the shul. They're the ones that have to press the ejector button. But who ended up pressing the ejector button? The rabbi. You know, I was the one that harassed. People look at the rabbi as controlling the shul, as if the rabbi is all powerful and could do anything. But when it came to this situation where there's a pedophile in the shul that was harassing a girl in the shul, there's no room for compromise. So I had to push the envelope to a place that was very uncomfortable and be willing to be harassed over that. So that became more of a, but my president helped.
Thank you. Raising hand. I'll ask everybody to ask only one question so that everyone gets a turn. Marty.
Many
Really good Balkora.
Thank you. There are many people in the shul that are very passionate about the minyanim and various satellites, and I understand that. There are a number of people who are equally passionate about the fact that Rov Am had Bas Melech, that people should be davening in the shul. There are certain Friday nights
in the shul where we have minyanim of 15 to 18 people. I understand both sides. Both sides have arguments and reasons for doing what they do. You as the rabbi of the shul, what will be your position on these outdoor minions, evenings, Shabbos mornings, Kriyas Torah in parking lots, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, so to rephrase the question, what would the rabbi do to make the main minyan more appealing to people? Is that a fair? Because it sounds like this is fait accompli. Fait accompli. Yeah, fait accompli. I took French for 2 years in Flatbush. I know one word. Écoutez. What écoutez means? Was the teacher, Mademoiselle Rosen, yelled at me, Eisenbach, écoutez. 2 years. Learn something. So I would, it sounds like it's a done deal. To uproot it would require, superpowers. I don't know if I want to wade into that, but definitely the rabbi, the board, prominent people who value the shul, I agree with you. I had my mechutin, even when we're at a wedding together, we'll find a shul to daven mincha meir. If you know there's a minyan in the shul, in the chasana hall. People think they come to a chasana and they'll daven mincha. I was once being Masada Kedushin, and the chassan says to me, "My friend wants to know when's mincha." Huh? We daven mincha already. Now's the time to recite Me'ach Chassan Bekala. There's no mincha anymore. There's an opinion that you're pater from mincha and meir. Don't take this at home. Your whole purpose at a wedding is to make the chassan and kala happy. So there's a lot of daven in a shul, and a sefer Torah is where it belongs. We don't want to compromise that. But the question is how to deal with it now that it exists, especially when there's sefer Torah involved, and it's not just a mincha meir minyan. A weekly mincha meir minyan, which seems to happen all over the place. So when there's a laning and things like that, it needs to be done really here, ideally. But I also saw outside that there were people incapable of walking to shul or even taking the Shabbos bus. So that's not even an option for them. So you kind of want to accommodate them. So it's a real dilemma. But one thing you definitely know for sure is how can you make shul more appealing to make people want to come to shul? That's the best I could come up with.
Yeah, Danny.
Hi, Danny.
Hi. I don't have any question. Rabbi Danny, Stephanie, because
Where you're
I really know them. They are my rabbi. He's my rabbi for quite time. And we say, "En omrim le'adam shekro b'fanav," but so important for the community to know a little bit about our experience with Rabbi Danny. So as a witness, I would like to tell you that Rabbi Danny is busy with care of Krovim and Rechokim as well. We think that Rabbi Danny and Rebbetzin Stephanie are great people. You see it also in the education that they give to their children, which one by one, they are excellent boys and girls. And we really wish that the community gonna understand who are we dealing with. And I wish you b'atzlacha, Rabbi.
Danny, how much are you charging us for this?
Free. Free Carmel.
I see.
One of probably the largest issue that was presented as what we value or what we want most in our rabbi is to be able to provide appropriate pastoral care. And so I want to know if you were presented with one of our members who was doing very poorly and possibly actively dying. And, you got to know him through Minion, but you didn't get to know the family, and the family comes to be with him. How would you be supportive of the family, at a time like this? Perhaps he's on hospice, perhaps, they call the nurse to make him as comfortable as they can. But now you have to deal with the family to be supportive. What kind of approach would you deal with, or, with the
I would visit, I would hold the ill person's hands, I would pray, and I would listen. I would listen to the family. I would listen to their concerns, and if they don't want to talk, I'll just sit, I would just be there with them. And the halacha is that you don't fulfill Bikur Cholim unless you pray. Everybody says, our thoughts and prayers are with you. I'm thinking, all the politicians who say that, how many actually, open up a Psalms and start praying? But it's a very powerful thing to be in a room with, the biggest mistakes I've made as a rabbi is when I didn't take it seriously enough. Visit that person, even a peripheral member of the shul. So I'm still doing teshuvah for those things. And so you can't underestimate that importance of just being with a person, holding their hand, and praying with the family.
Yeah, hello,
Hi.
I'm Bruce Younger.
I was,
Wanted to know, please, does your synagogue in New York, do they say Tefillah L'Shlom Medina?
of course, I say it. I say it, and if I'd be like my wife, who's very good with lyrics, you think I'm saying it for 15 years, I know it by heart. Not only do we say Shlom Medina, we say the Mishaber for the Chayalim, V'dani Ma'osim Achakach, Sharim Achenu. We sing, that's something I instituted, that we could not, I don't sing it. My cousin sings it. I back him up a little. I'm like the Pips. But we sing Achenu together, and when we say the Mishaber for the Chayalim, we hand out cards, and we have a wonderful Gaba, Marty Khan, and we printed cards, and everybody says the Mishaber together. So shul, Judaism is not the Syrians, Spartan would have it right. They pray together. Everything's together. And when you're passive before, when I start speaking, there's always somebody in the shul that goes like this. Another person within 30 seconds. But because religion, we're not passive. You have to be active. So to say Achenu together is a very powerful thing. To say the Tefillah for the Chayalim together is a very powerful thing. If I would have my gumption, I would say it in English again together.
One of the congregants asked me to ask you, what's your opinion about saying Hallel on Yom Ha'atzmaut or Yom Yerushalayim?
We say Hallel on Yom Ha'atzmaut, like most modern Orthodox shuls. The custom has whether evolved or devolved into saying Hallel without a bracha, but that's Reb Willick's psak, and that's what we go with.
Okay. Ruthie?
Hi, my name is Ruth Fury.
Hi, Ruth.
Hi, and first the question about in our shul here, I noticed that we don't say the prayer for the United States of America.
They didn't say it?
We do.
They do. Yeah, they do. We say it in Hebrew. They do.
Oh, they say, okay, so that's
Yeah,
good.
it's good.
Now I
We do
have-
that too.
But only for Republicans.
No, you said it 3 weeks ago, also.
Rabbi recently, the Tulane Carter demonstrated in front of my son's office in a terrible way against it. And, many, many years ago, I almost got arrested for trying to fight for them.
Good for you.
I almost got arrested. But the truth is, shouldn't we do something about the touring car?
Also a political question.
No, that's it. I'm gonna take that. I want to take that question because my position in SKA is Mashiach Ruchani, spiritual guide. And one teacher was saying, this girl, I don't think she believes in God. I said, shikar to me or send her to me. I could fix anything. I can make her believe in God. Just give me, I could fix it to her card too. Wouldn't it be nice if we had an ejector button? Press the ejector button. And that's something we really, while you're not able to do anything directly against them, I'll give you chapters of Psalms to say with all your heart that evil that exists among the Jewish people should be eliminated.
We have 10 minutes left. The rabbi has to catch a plane, so.
Neil Nissel here.
Hi, Neil.
A few minutes ago, some very, very nice words was said about you, your current practice.
Yes.
I have to pass on some information from maybe 1,000 years ago.
Okay.
When you were upper in Israel,
Uh-huh.
my son had the pleasure of learning with you and gave Zalman this song.
Oh, from Pittsburgh.
From Pittsburgh.
Sandy.
Yeah. And he gave us some very,
A
very.
long time ago. We were roommates briefly.
I said 1,000
With
years
Fishy
ago.
Milk.
Okay,
Huh?
he's still doing
Like
good.
I remembered Zalman's really Sandy.
Yes, he told me to say something, but
Tell him I remember.
have to tell the island
Tell him I remember.
that the niceness and the fineness and the personality is not new. This was here the rabbi had this many years ago.
The Rebbitzin helped though. Yeah, we did it.
I didn't have the background information there, but I'm sure
Thank you
that's
for that
great.
kindness. Thank you.
Okay, I'm asking on behalf of a friend of mine who couldn't be here at this meeting. My name is Bella Zellinger.
Hi, Bella.
Hi. How would you handle a shul member who refuses to give his wife a gift?
Oh, my God. Yeah, so that's a problem. So,
And we don't have a goon squad.
you really do, you do ask. Again, if a Beis Din determined that this woman is an aguna because of this man, so the Beis Din established that the onus is completely on him, you can't allow that person to come back to shul. But also there's the flip question. There are women that won't receive a get either. And again, if it's established by a Beis Din that there's no reason for her not to accept a get, then together with the board, you have to make a determination whether this person should be allowed back in shul. So that's right below that other person you spoke about.
Morning, Rabbi.
Hi, William. Thank you.
You've experienced the weekend here from Thursday night until now. If you were selected as our rabbi in Rebbitzin, two-part question. What would be your first initiative during your first 30 days? And so far, what do you see as a challenge to being a rabbi here for Torah?
Right. Who did Trump want as Secretary of State?
Rubio.
No, not but the guy they rejected as he's looking for a job, so we'll appoint him. But that was my wife's choice. I would do nothing. I would fight every urge to do anything. The first 30 days, maybe even longer, until you get your what's the cliche? Sea legs. And I would do absolutely nothing unless it was something, really something that needs to be fixed. I would do nothing. And this weekend was such a whirlwind. It's hard to really think about how we feel about it. It was a great experience, full of energy, but it's like a cholent that needs to settle. So I can't answer the second question. We got one more. Hi, go ahead.
As much as we're interviewing you.
Yeah.
Sure, at some level, you're interviewing us. So what do you really think now? First impression.
I think there's a lot of love and caring among the people here. And it's refreshing to speak to people who make eye contact with you, who seem to really care about each other. I have a parent, Larry Foreman, who was very ill, and he said that as much as he was cured by the doctors, he was cured by the love that he experienced here. So whatever happens in the future, I'm grateful that myself and the Rebbitzin had a chance to experience this weekend. It animated us and elevated us. And everybody that gets to be here, you should feel fortunate that you landed in this place, like the Yiddish saying, you fell into a vat of schmaltz, good schmaltz.
Hello, Rabbi.
Hi, Jonas.
So you have covered so much territory in 2 days, and I can only thank you for your candor, your honesty, and your words of wisdom. So I just want to say thank you
Oh,
for that.
thank you, Jonas. Amen.
Now, having said that, not to take anything away from that, and having been married for 56 years
Yeah.
to a wonderful, beautiful woman, is there anything Stephanie, your Everton Stephanie might want to say to us? Thank you, Stephanie.
Not to put you on
What
the
do you
spot.
think of us?
Wow. Not to be put on the spot, but yeah.
No, we went out to breakfast. I
The
found that,
breakfast was nice.
and I found that you're not exactly somebody without opinion, and but good, all good.
I repeat, I echo what my husband said. It is inspiring. Your community is inspiring. People want to learn. And Cheryl's there. People want to learn. We're the see eye to eye on everything. People want to learn. People want to grow. People want to be social. It's like their second life is happening here. And it's a beautiful thing. And I will be honest, we see all the good. We see people that have certain unhappiness and certain issues. Can we deal with them? I don't know, but as my husband said, we're very good listeners. And we care a lot. And I keep thinking about the man there with his children in the army. And I feel your pain. I feel for you. And I wish we could have a solution because it's so painful. That is only one piece of the pain. The whole cholesterol is the pain. And we're at a stage, we're in a war for so long and we can't figure it out. Like, who are we? We can't figure it out. Why can't we do it? We're all smart, we're all adults, but we still can't do it. And, you know, your family is suffering for all of us. And why aren't we suffering? I mean, we are, but we're not, you know, so I can't answer that, but whatever.
I want to say something.
Thank
Yeah.
you. But we're having said that and having the prerogative of my office, I want to thank Avi Kugelberg and the. Next, they have done an outstanding job in giving you a good sense of us and finding you from, you know, the shadows of wherever you came from. It was a bracha that they found you in a shidduch, in a shemayim. And we'll see what happens next, but thank you for coming here. Thank you for spending time with us. And thank you for Avi for making this possible. Thank you. With that, we are adjourned.
Please pick up after yourselves. Leave the room clean.
Bye, Cheryl.